Hey y'all, this is Mad Nomad, and this is my new Combat Helper extension. So this extension is aiming to improve combat for you and your players, make things move faster, avoid having to deal with the combat tracker and all the details in there when you don't really need it. So what I have here on the left is the DM, and on the right here the player. Right, there's a typical scenario where you got your map and people on the map, right, and you're in middle of combat. And normally you'd just be working with this combat tracker, moving through the list. But let me show you what this does for you, right? So we'll go to the player right here is using Vlad, right? So I'm going to move forward and go back to Vlad. You see on the player side, this little dialog window opens up automatically for them when it becomes their turn, right? And in this window, they can see their current health. If you hover over these little effect icons, this shows the effects that are on them. You'll see they match basically what's in the combat tracker. And then if you move down, you'll see that the player can see their current targets. Do they have anybody targeted currently? They can unselect them easily from here. When they target new people, it shows up. Right below that, they see their weapons. So if they want to make an attack, right, they can just switch their weapon. They can roll the attack. Double click on it. I clicked it twice there, but basically, you see the attack is made, right? They see the result, and I missed, but if I hit, they can just roll the damage as well. And yeah, so that does the damage in the combat tracker like normal. And as a player, I can then go ahead and end my turn and move on, or also the abilities and spells are in here as well. Actually, just the abilities, not all the spells. They're not there, but at least not for now. But when they select ability, they can then see the actions that would apply for that ability and use those from here as well. So as a player, I basically don't need to open up the combat tracker. When it's my turn, I just see everything I need to see to do what I need to do for the most part. Now, there's of course exceptions where you need to get into like some of the details of things, or if you want to open up your character sheet, you can do it right by just clicking on this little thing at the top here. And maybe you need to do something more complicated, mark off ability uses or find some kind of item or something. But your standard general turn, you should be able to do just from this little dialog window on its own. And that can also then end the turn and it moves on to the next person. So this is going to help speed up turns for players a lot. Also, it makes them aware that it's their turn because this window pops right up and shows it to them. But then also this is helpful for the DM. Let me show you how that's helpful for them. Now, actually, I'll mention that right now you see this will look popped up because there's no player using it. So currently, anybody who's not owned by a player is going to pop up for the DM so they can take the action for them or whatever. I also forgot to mention that you can resize it as you need to as well. But the other helpful thing is when it's the DM's turn, it's a monster. I don't know about you guys, but I sort of always hated trying to work inside the combat tracker to use these actions and everything, and it just was really distracting to me. So what this does now is it also does something similar for the monsters and NPCs. You can see who they have targeted, their health and effects as well, but also all their actions just show up right here for you in this little action list. Much easier to find, a lot less distraction. You're looking specifically at the monster whose turn it is, and you can go ahead, make their attacks and everything right from this dialogue. So even as the DM, you may not really need that combat tracker to be open for the most part, especially if you're using, the combat tracker list mode, right, where it has the initiative order and you see who's coming up. And if you have my enhanced portraits, interactive portraits extension, it'll even show you your health in the portraits as well. So, you won't really start toggling back and forth and you won't even need to see everybody's hit points. Of course, you can always open up as you need, and you could kind of use a mixer of both. Or have both open and just still use this and know it's your turn and narrow in on the action. So a lot of different ways you can use this. I will be enhancing further, as it goes on. I'm going to make it optional, for some players, they can just turn it on or off, and maybe some other tweaks. But for now, this is basically how it works. You can also use the speak as to initiate speaking from that character here as well. And you can open up a description of the actions and get all the details as well from there. So that's basically it. I think this is going to really streamline combat for a lot of people. So I hope that you guys find this enjoyable. Thanks as always.